Hey folks, lyarri here. Today we're watching Pro-Choice Rally by Channel 5 with Andrew Callaghan. I'm very excited for this video. I was wondering how they would cover the Roe v. Wade repeal, and this is literally their coverage of a protest 2 days ago. 2 days ago, about 48 hours after the repeal, so I think it'll be really interesting. Let's go.
The patriarchy is your body, your choice. Ending abortion will never end abortion. It will only end safe legal access to it. And I think if you ask any of the Republicans who are so loudly shouting pro-life, if they've ever forced a mistress to have an abortion, and I think it will be shockingly alarming how many they do. We are here to advocate for all uterus havers. There are many, many accesses for you to make sure that you are still capable to receive safe and legal abortion.
Tonight,
I really respect her. Also, she's like covering her face with like I actually like the glasses because I'm ridiculous, but to like, anonymize herself, which can be very helpful.
is unfolding across the United States.
The highest court in the land reversed course on 50 years of federal constitutional rights to an abortion, sending the issue to the states.
Hundreds, if not 1,000 protesters filled Second Avenue in downtown Seattle.
I actually was raised Catholic. I went to a Catholic school. My whole family is Christian now, but also my Christian family is pro-choice. I don't think you can bash the entire religion based off of it. There are a lot of pro-choice Christians out there that understand that while they may not personally feel a certain way, they can't tell other people how they can and can't feel. The thing is, if you're going to be debating with a Christian stance, that has to be separate from the government. You can't enforce or impose any sort of religious beliefs. It has to be separate from the state. I mean, that's how the Constitution was formed. Everybody can argue what they want, but that's the bottom line. You have 80% of the population on this side. That's a lot of opportunity for change and hope for the future. Unfortunately, it's just in the wrong hands right now. These justices were appointed so long ago and will stay in power until they die. They were appointed at a different time and a different era where different things were considered acceptable, where they no longer are now, and it's no longer the voice of the people either. History does.
I'll say like a few of the judges that, 3 of the judges that voted yes were like appointed during Trump's term, so they're definitely really old and appointed for certain reasons. But besides that, I think it's also like what she's saying is very true. And there's something else I wanted to say. Okay, I'm not remembering it. That's okay.
Repeat itself, and it's just unfortunate that we're all here yet again.
What are your thoughts on the Supreme Court?
They can go fuck themselves.
We just talked to some Christians across the street, and they think that the moment conception occurs, a life form has germinated. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that you can believe whatever you believe, but the second it infringes on my body, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like, and like enforcing like a federal minimum. That's actually what I wanted to say. Like, there's some folks who argue that like, oh, the Supreme Court shouldn't be deciding, the federal government shouldn't be deciding that, oh, there's a federal minimum right to an abortion. But like, they should. States shouldn't be allowed to decide there isn't. My opinion.
But if you read other religions and stuff, like in Jewish law, it is required to abort a baby or a fetus if it jeopardizes the life of the mother. So you need to understand that Christianity isn't the end all say all. There are a multitude of different religions and we need to respect them all. I think it's infuriating that a dead body has more bodily autonomy than me. You cannot force anybody to donate anything in their body even though it can save somebody's life, and you're forcing me to potentially jeopardize my health and my safety for something that I don't even want. That's not even considered a life in my opinion, and the opinion of a multitude of people.
I think life begins whenever the baby is physically, pushed out of the womb. If I was in the position to where I was pregnant, I would get an abortion. I think this is extremely unfair and just backwards. It honestly just makes me feel so many emotions: sad, disgusted, angry, and just disappointed.
I do want to elaborate just a tiny bit. Like, she says life begins when the baby's pushed out of the womb. I will say, like, even if I'm not gonna argue like when life begins. I'm just gonna say when abortions usually occurs like significantly way before that point, and if they do occur at that point, it's usually it's like an ectopic pregnancy where like both the life of the mother and the child are at risk, and it's definitely one of those things where Yeah, like there are definitely situations where abortion should be allowed.
Women need to protect our bodies, so fuck the Supreme Court. As the world changes and evolves, so do people, and we can't just have the same people in office their entire life. It's just gonna end up being backwards. I think that we should at least, have elections for it.
Dude, it's just fucking disappointing. Like, we just have a bunch of old white men, like, trying to decide what to do with people's bodies, and, like, that's fucked up. Like,
Are you surprised?
no, fuck no. Why are we surprised nowadays? Like, our legal system just doesn't seem like it works.
They should not be able to be in the Supreme Court for an unlimited amount of time, and we should be able to have more of a say in who's running our country.
Aren't all other, like, levels, like, elected? So, like, why wouldn't these folks be elected as well, I guess, is what kind of where I'm thinking.
Some of these people are like 70, 80 years old. Boomer mentality. It's time for a change.
Perhaps even beyond boomer.
Perhaps even beyond boomer.
I'm not sure what it's called to be 10 years above boomer. I think it might be called the greatest generation.
Fuck these old men.
Who's your least favorite old man?
Clarence Thomas.
True.
Fuck him.
It's my old friend Mads. I'm gonna put a picture on the screen here of me and Mads 10 years ago in the studio, recording some rap music. Mads doesn't really rap anymore. He plays guitar, but he fucking rips it.
Cause I got the coronavirus blues.
Mads, what do you think about what's going on right now?
It's horrendous. It's like super sad. Feel terrible for my mom and all the women, and it's pretty scary what's happening to this country. And yeah, women should have complete control over their own bodies. The government should stay the fuck away. Yeah.
What do you think about the idea that immediately upon conception, an autonomous life exists inside of the womb?
I think it's ridiculous. It's like, to me, it's the same as like saying maybe my semen or a sperm or an egg is like a life. It is eventually, but not immediately.
What do you think about the Supreme Court? Like,
yeah, I think that they don't work to serve the common people. The majority of Americans are actually for women's rights over their own bodies. It's representing political interest of the rich and powerful. We need to abolish the Supreme Court and destroy them, destroy the institution, destroy capitalism. This entire U.S. government is built on genocide and slavery and lies. They don't care about immigrants or helping poor people or orphans, so it's just a really convenient way to look like they care about people when they don't give a fuck about other people.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to say, my guy?
Actually, I am a rapper still.
Still rap?
I still rap, yeah.
No fucking way.
Yo, I believe that we gotta give the choice back to the women, cause you know they got a voice strapped. That's how we gotta be, armed, ready to fight the government and the capitalists. We could do it in one night, make a new system that overthrows, make a revolution, let the people all know, no foes. You know I do this for my bros, we do this for everybody from coast to coast. So put your fist up, I'm one of the illest to kill it, representing all of the children unborn. I represent for them, cause women, they're the ones who decide. Yeah, peace and love to everybody, let's ride.
Damn, Mads, you still rap, my guy. I thought you retired the hip-hop career.
No, I'm getting really into it.
All right. Yeah. You getting back into it?
Getting really into it.
Back in the day, me and Mads had a song called Crucial Polarity. I'm going to play it over this song because I believe nobody owns the rights to it. Crucial Polarity, bring in the clarity. Solidarity, change coming through Seattle solidarity. My name is Mads, yeah, you probably heard of me. I wrote a song and my destiny occurred to me.
That's insane, you remember that.
I was
I
so
remember every
good.
one of your bars, man. So what brought you guys out here today specifically?
So we actually are invited to a church group in Kent area. We're going there to preach there tomorrow, and we wanted to come experience Seattle tonight.
But you guys are at the location of the Roe v. Wade protest right across the street. How do you guys feel about what happened?
I think it's good that they, outlawed it for sure.
We're glad for anything that would save lives.
I definitely think abortion is murder for sure.
In what way?
Well, you're ending the life of a human. Once conception takes place, the Bible teaches us that, that God says, before I knew thee, I formed thee in the womb. And at that point, life begins. Biologically, it's true that life begins there. Yeah. I think the bottom line is this, is that people are trying to find a way to get around the consequences of their actions. And if you're having sexual intercourse, you should expect to potentially have a child.
But I feel like people always start talking about how blah 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 life begins at conception. Biologically, it begins at conception too. That the dude was saying, but then really when they start continuing to talk, they just want women to be punished for having sex, which is weird. like, it's very strange.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican.
Can I ask you what you think about abortion?
I mean, there's no life. There's no life yet. There's no life. Like there's a beating little thing where it's a cell growing. It's not had a life. It doesn't have a life. It doesn't know what a life is. It has no clue what a life is. You think, oh, it moves around, or it blinks its eyes, or it sucks its thumb, something like that, right? That proves that. Okay, but are you going to give more rights to that baby? That's that fetus. You're going to give more rights to that fetus than you are to women, right? And then all the children that are born that end up in the orphanages, that end up with abusive parents, that end up on the streets, that end up all sorts of problems, dropping out of school. You're going to have like millions of these kids in the next 10 to 20 years, okay? What are they going to do about that? Nothing. They think that's okay, but that's not okay, right? So I don't understand why they're just being so pig-headed and stupid. I think it's an agenda. It's just a coup. It's a coup. Supreme Court's in the middle of a coup. It shouldn't have the powers it has. You can't pass laws like that without asking the other two branches of government for, do you think this is cool? It's a balance of power that's not been used forever because it's been usurped. It's a coup. It's been going on since, well, I don't know. My boyfriend knows.
Yes. Am I talking to you guys real quick? So how do you guys feel about the whole Roe v. Wade thing?
The coup part was a little, not the exact terminology I would use, just for this part, but I mean, I see the logic that she's pointing to.
Being overturned.
God created all humans, and I believe we should leave it up to Him and not take any rights away of the human to live.
So what would you do if you got pregnant in an unwanted situation? Like,
even if I would feel like this is not a good situation, I would like to make the situation as good as possible for the child.
Right.
So it can be good in the end.
So at what point after conception do you believe that a sperm cell becomes sentient?
Immediately.
I can't tell if she's like 18, 50, 30, 70. She can be anything. 12.
Right away, I believe the human is started at conception. I believe once it's conceived, the baby has started.
For sure. But I mean, just imagine like something horrible happened to you, you got pregnant, and like, you were pregnant as a result of a bad situation. Like, how would you feel about bringing a kid into the world knowing that you didn't want it to be there? I mean,
well, obviously, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I believe that God designed it for the woman to have a baby. And in this circumstance, we're talking about a woman that wasn't ready for it or didn't want it. But I still firmly believe that we should not kill the baby.
Like, I feel like her logic is like everything happens for a reason, God's plan, yada yada. It is the logical conclusion, but I really I don't think telling someone who got raped everything happens for a reason is like ever going to help in like a real way. Like it might it might feel okay and like some people can escape into that, but like I don't think that's like the healthy way to perceive being like assaulted.
even if it was you?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Videos like that are really important. I liked like how he kind of like went straight into it, and there wasn't really much like there was a little bit of context setting with the news segment near the beginning, but that was it. And I do like, yeah, it's really awful. I'm not a fan of Supreme Court. Yeah. The guy riding by like a statue because he just had his mind blown by your buddy Matt's rap skills at 6:15 had me cracking up. True. The little segment where he was shouting out his friend was a little interesting. It went a little long to me, but I think like he had a lot to say and at least it was very relevant. These serious Channel 5 episodes are always so hard hitting. Respect and thank you. And like, I think it's important to note, like, this video has like the fastest turnaround I think of any video they put out. Like, as far as I'm aware, like, it was very loose, very light editing. I really respect that. Like, I think it's very, it speaks to how they feel about this issue. And I think like this video in particular is one of the videos where you can really see that. And I think this is an okay level of like Channel 5 is like a journalist or, you know, sense, right? Like they try and like position themselves as at least like people on the ground investigating things. And I think in this situation, this is where journalists can be more, at least personally involved in a sense. Like I think like maybe I wouldn't want like a real like a full-fledged journalist operation to like spend like shout out their friend, but like obviously this is a little different. But besides that, like I think there is like room for these kinds of folks to at least speak out about important things that like affect people's civil rights and stuff. Yeah, okay, that's a good way to put it. Nothing makes my day more than a new Channel 5 video. This channel is doing what Adult Swim wishes they could achieve. Once again, proving that independent content creators are the future of entertainment. Keep it up, boys. This brand has endless potential. I was there. Did Adult Swim have something like this? I didn't know that. It's interesting. I've watched Adult Swim shows. I'm a big fan of home movies. Okay, Andrew, you and your companions' work here is top notch, letting voices be heard without any hidden agenda. Any hidden narrative is something few news outlets do. It is clarity. Yeah, so this is like, I think this is really cool, right? You can very clearly see how he's conducting the interviews, that he's walking around talking to folks, letting different groups of folks speak. And while like I think it's clear Andrew has a personal opinion on something like this, um it's obvious and he doesn't, it feels like it doesn't affect the actual content. um yeah, this lady was the 245 lady. And who was the two? Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, she was also great. um yeah, there were definitely some really awesome, like I really enjoyed a lot of what the folks had to say. They really had like like I think in general when you listen to like the folks who are pro-choice, there are a lot of various reasons to be pro-choice. And there's also folks who like aren't as highly informed, and that's okay. But when you listen to like the super informed folks who list off of various different reasons versus like the pro-life folks who generally either have like this religious argument or this like life just magically begins argument instantly, or like we should punish women for having sex argument. It's like really bizarre. Um and like there was the one lady who mentioned that like 80% of the country is pro-choice. And like it's true that as you like as you ask more specific questions towards the later period of life, and especially some leading questions, it can get significantly lower than that to like 50-40%. And I think 40% is like me being overly conservative. I think it's like most stuff is like 50-60%. um but like polling when it gets that specific isn't like as useful to like accurately judge people's perception. And also more importantly, like yeah, that doesn't mean that there should be no federal minimum at all. Roe v. Wade in some iteration should exist. Even if like you believe in the argument that Roe v. Wade was founded on like bizarre principles that like don't fit. A, I don't think that's necessarily true. B, I think that kind of goes for a fair amount of laws if you start following down that line, and that wouldn't be good for a lot of folks. And C, or if you not follow that line but like give it validation. Because the Supreme Court, due to how it works, in itself such tradition that can be pointed to. Um, and finally, there was a third thing, but I lost my train of thought. I've spoken so much. Um, and I remember every one of your bars, man. This was really, yeah. Andrew does seem like someone who cares about people, for sure. The greatest rapper ever on Channel 5. Love Mads. I liked Mads a lot. I think it it is a good, like, rappers can rap about, like, overthrowing the government and stuff. I don't think that's necessarily, like, what is the best situation. I think I'm a huge proponent of voting. I'm not gonna already this is too, like, a little off course for my React channel, so I'm not gonna get too into it. But yeah, like, but in general, going to protests, getting your voice heard, calling your representatives, calling your senators, they do things. They do, like, especially if you are, like, there, if they are your representative or they are your senator, then you will get, like, at the very least, an intern will tally you. And, like, if enough people get tallied, it does in some way work its way up. Um, Watching Andrew just interact with one of his old friends was really great. Bring back the podcast so we can have more moments like that. They had a podcast? That's cool. Mind-boggling how quick you are to get to the freshest stories while giving a good showing of both opinions on the matter. Thank you as always for your coverage. Yeah. Bro, there were really some awesome voices that had to be heard. Okay, sorry, some of these comments are repeating. Love that this went nearly 2 minutes before Andrew said a word. Not that I don't want to hear from him, but as always, glad he and the editors let the people speak. Well then, as always, folks. This is exactly why, like, the little bit where, like, he spoke to Mads, I think works. Because he spent the beginning of the video not, like, doing anything Channel 5y. And then he also, like, Mads was actually relevant to the topic. So I respect it. I can't believe you did an amazing journalistic video, totally serious, and still somebody did a rap in it. I meant to say this, yeah. I'm totally happy that you people use this platform to show support for those causes and didn't even care for the audience. And your audience is big. Yeah, like, I think Channel 5 is just generally, like, a really good thing. I'm very happy they exist. Like, one favorite YouTube channel. I think it's, like, yeah, like, they at least in terms of, like, what they do, like, I don't know anyone who does, like, this kind of content like Channel 5. It's so good. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, folks. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye. Hey folks, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.